ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Together as we sit, as family of one life, one light, and one soul. Before we begin, I invite you to arrive fully in this moment. Let the mind settle. Let the body relax. Let the noise of the day gently fade away. For the next little while, there is nowhere else you need to be, and nothing you need to carry. Simply be here, open and present, ready to receive the wisdom of the ancient masters. Today I invite you to reflect with me on an emotion, simple but yet deeply powerful in shaping our inner and outer lives. This is known as chinta, or commonly worry. To understand chinta, we must recognize the mind's dual nature. The same mind that can bind us in worry also holds the power to set us free through divine reflection. One leads to restlessness, the other leads to awakening. When chinta is perceived as worry, it transforms into a binding force, unsettling the mind and setting it into a restless motion as it struggles to control the uncontrollable, pulling us into an endless pendulum of what ifs, scattering our energy and clouding the light of our true nature, ourselves. Small concerns grow heavy, and we begin to carry burdens we were never meant to carry. But there is another possibility, known as chintan. This is also referred to as an internal vichar. When guided with awareness, chinta transforms into chintan, a focused, mindful reflection. Instead of trapping the mind, it steadies it. Instead of creating fear, it nurtures faith. In Sikh understanding, chintan is the remembrance of Vaheguru, the reflections on Satnam, and living the divine wisdom of the Mool Mantra, and the values that Guru Granth Sahib guides us to live by. In this way, chintan creates a healthy concern. It awakens us from spiritual carelessness. It encourages honest self-examination. It inspires ethical living. And it gently reminds us of our human limitations and our need for divine support. Much of our suffering arises not from reality itself, but from the stories our minds create, our urge to control life, and an imagination that wanders beyond what is the truth. Peace begins the moment we soften that grip, when we learn to notice worry without clinging to it, when fear gives way to thoughtful reflection, when we trust the natural unfolding of life, then an inner stillness gently emerges, Within that stillness, Chintan becomes more than reflection. It becomes a quiet, steady presence where calm effortlessly resides. And from that calm emerges the highest journey of all, the soul moving towards its ultimate union with the Paramatma. So this evening, Sangat, let us gently shift from Chinta to Chintan, from restlessness to remembrance, from fear to faith, from noise to stillness. There is a beautiful story that I would like to share with you. There was once a little boy whose dream was to own a rocking horse. Every night before sleep, he would close his eyes and imagine a beautiful, magnificent wooden steed with a flowing mane, painted eyes shining with adventure, and a saddle smooth beneath his small hands. He would whisper his wish to the universe, hoping that somehow, somewhere, it was being heard. Then one Christmas morning, like every year, he tiptoed down the steps, his heart pounding with anticipation. The house was still. Frost decorated the windows with delicate formations of ice. Beneath the twinkling lights of the Christmas tree lay a large, beautiful wrapped package, larger than anything he had ever received. With eager hands, he tore it open to reveal the object of his longing, a wooden horse, smooth, unpolished, eyes full of life. It was more beautiful than he had ever imagined. He climbed onto the horse, gripped the handles, and pushed off with his tiny feet. Soon, the room around him dissolved into his imagination as he swung backward and forward. In that moment, he became a cowboy, galloping across the wild plains, racing to save the world, a hero on a mission of daring feats. He chased outlaws through desert storms, rescued entire towns from danger, and discovered hidden treasures in forgotten caves. His imagination carried him through countless adventures, each one vivid, urgent, and absolutely real to him. Yet physically, he had not moved an inch. The rocking horse had taken him everywhere, unknowingly. Sangaji, we all have our own rocking horses. As we leave our childhood rocking horse in a distant memory, we begin to ride furiously upon our mental rocking. This one is not made of wood, but of thought. It does not rest in the living room, but in the landscapes of our mind. Conversations replayed over and over that have not yet happened. Rehearsing arguments with people who have not disagreed with us. We imagine personal disasters that exist only as possibilities. We grieve losses that have not occurred. We celebrate victories that remain uncertain. We defend ourselves against accusations no one has yet made. This is both the unique curse and the blessings of human consciousness. As much as worry helps us prepare, it is also a key source of our emotional and mental instability, depriving us of the peace which we were created. And like the boy who eventually outgrew his toy, many of us ride these mental horses our entire lives, never realizing that we have not moved at all. Sometimes our greatest struggle comes not from the world around us, but from the unfounded fears we carry within. We often feel our lives are weighed down by misfortune, yet most of them never truly happen. They only exist in the theater of our minds. Long dark shadows cast by imagination, long before reality gives us reason to worry. We exhaust ourselves chasing countless emotions born from subtle fear. Yet we end exactly where we begin, only this time heavier, denser, more anxious, convinced that something in our life needs to be fixed. Haunted by shadows that aren't there, we run away from storms that never break. Long before real challenges hit, we drain ourselves with the pain of what might be. Life's harshness lies not in what happens. That is a karmic flow. What will happen will happen. What we suffer is a consequence of our decision making in the past. But in the extra weight we pile on is simply the imagination of that disaster. We borrow tomorrow's sorrow and live it twice, once in fear, once if it arrives. The motion feels urgent, the journey feels real. But when we finally pause and look around, we find ourselves exactly where we started. When we carry worry, we are essentially trying to bear the weight of the whole world upon our shoulders. Shoulders that were never built to carry such a burden. This rocking horse appears most vividly when we face life's inevitable struggles. The weight of sadness that sits upon the chest like a stone, losing a loved one. The fog of anxiety arising from uncertainty that clouds our every decision. The ache of loneliness going through divorce that whispers we are fundamentally unlovable, destined to walk through life unseen. Our minds become battlegrounds of stress and doubt. Thoughts clash like opposing armies. The combat never ceases, and we grow exhausted from incessant internal conflicts that produce no victory, no resolution, and leaves no peace. Our bodies grow weary. Sleep becomes elusive. Consequently, our health begins to suffer. Our relationship with ourselves and others also begin to suffer. We feel isolated despite being surrounded by many. We misread neutral expressions as rejections. We hear criticism in simply innocent comments and find abandonment in ordinary absences. Life's transition will thrust us into the unknown. A new job, a move, the end of a relationship, the loss of a loved one, a health diagnosis, children coming to age and leaving home, retirement approaching. These are spaces formed through the changing nature of time, where the old identity has not fully dissolved and the new one has not yet fully formed. This becomes fertile ground for worry. Yet this voice is not the truth. It is like walking through deep water with a bag of stones on our backs. This is the exhausting motion of the rocking horse. It is the ego mind, desperate to maintain control, using worry as a tool to keep us small, safe, and predictable. It believes that if it can just worry enough, plan enough, control enough, we will finally be secure. But security does not come from controlling the uncontrollable. It comes from discovering what cannot be controlled, the vast, unchanging awareness at our very core. The security that depends upon favorable circumstances is not true security, but merely a fragile hope. The identity we have built on roles, achievements, and others' approval may be necessary in the world we live in. However, it is not our true self, but simply a costume we have mistaken for our essence. We take the temporary for the permanent and the conditional for the absolute. We believe if we have enough money, the right relationship, the perfect health, then that will make us safe and free from worry. Yet we must understand that everyone remains in a constant state of worry. The poor worry about survival. The wealthy worry about losing their wealth. The healthy worry about their illness. The mind always finds new threats to imagine. We become so busy worrying about that which we have little or no control over that we forget to receive and enjoy the love being showered upon us in this very moment. And then for a while, we tell ourselves, we are strong enough. We will manage. But slowly the weight pulls us down, draining us, because worry steals energy from the only place life truly exists, that is in this moment, in this breath. Guruji guides us. Nanak chinta mat karho chinta pisihi. O Nanak, do not worry. The Lord will take care of you. For He creates creatures in water and provides them with sustenance. While we are busy fighting a tomorrow that has not arrived, we miss the life already unfolding within and around us. Yes, Sangaji, not all worry is harmful. It is natural. Worry signals that the mind cares about what might happen. It is a protective instinct meant to keep us alert. We worry about an exam, so we study. We worry about our health, so we exercise. We worry about our child's safety, so we teach them caution. However, understand that life moves with a rhythm far older and wiser than our very limited plans. It flows like a river, sometimes gentle, sometimes forceful, yet always moving forward. Worry is our feeble attempt to grasp that river and force it to stop. But peace does not come from controlling the river. Peace comes from learning when to row with sincerity and when to release the oars and trust the current. Worry motivates preparation, but if left unchecked, it transforms into a demon that steals our peace, a mental rocking horse that keeps us moving furiously without any control, going nowhere. Natural as worry is, in most cases, worry cannot influence the outcomes we desire. Even if worry unexpectedly knocks on the door, we need not answer. We can pause and ask, is this something we can act on right now? If the answer is yes, then open the door and act. If not, then release it. Keep that door shut. Refuse to feed the endless cycle of what-ifs. That path only leads to exhaustion and frustration. Let me share with you a tale from ancient Japan, illustrating the power of letting go. A samurai returned home from battle to find his wife with his servant. Shock, rage, and humiliation took over in an instant. In his culture, such betrayal demanded blood. He challenged the servant to a duel at dawn. The servant, terrified, knew he had no skill with the sword. Certain he would die, he fled into the jungle and came upon a Zen master meditating beneath a tree. Falling to his knees, he begged, "Teach me something, anything that might save my life." The master looked at him calmly and said, "My child, you have already lost everything. You have no reputation to protect. You have no future in society. You have nothing left to cling." After a pause, he continued, "Son, enter the duel with no mind, free from fear, because there is nothing left for you to lose, or you can enter with total fear. Understand this. Your opponent fights burdened by pride and attachment. You fight as a man already dead. See only the moment. Hold nothing. Let go completely. All will be." Through the night, the servant sat with these words. Gradually, acceptance replaced panic. If he was to die, let him die fully present and without fear. At dawn, the duel began. The servant moved without strategy, only presence. There was no past, no future, no consequence, no fear, only this breath, this step, this motion. The warrior, highly trained, fought with a divided mind. Honor, shame, rage, reputation. Each thought slowing him down. He fought not one opponent, but two, the servant before him and the storm of Maya within. The servant's blade found its mark, and the warrior fell in defeat. This story mirrors our own inner battles. We are both characters, the warrior clinging to control, and the servant who desires freedom through surrender. The freedom of the servant did not come from confidence in victory. It came from acceptance of loss. And this is the paradox of spiritual life. We find freedom not by getting what we want, but by releasing our grip on the outcomes. As the Quran reminds us, indeed, with hardship will be ease. Guruji guides us, "Jako chinta bahut bahut dehi vyapay rog, grest kutamb paletya kade harkh kade sog, gaun kare chaukunt ka kadi na besan soe, chetave us par brahm tan man sital hoye." When one is overwhelmed by great anxiety and the body is afflicted by disease, entangled in household and family affairs, sometimes in joy, sometimes in sorrow, wandering in all four directions without a moment's rest, even then, if one remembers Par Brahm, the Supreme Lord, the Allah, the Vaheguru, the Ram, the body and the mind becomes cool and peaceful. Allow me to share with you an ancient wisdoms. We are not the body. We are not the mind. Both are objects of awareness. And we are the ones who are aware. We are awareness itself, the unchanging witness in which thoughts rise and fall like clouds across the sky. The sky is never troubled by the shades of the clouds. The one worrying is the ego mind, the sense of I that believes happiness depends upon circumstance. Understand that thoughts are natural expressions of the mind, like waves upon the ocean's surface. Waves rise and dissolve, but the ocean remains unchanged. How can the ocean fear the weight of a single drop? We, too, are the depths of the divine ocean. Guru Nanak Dev Ji gently guides us to the depths of this divine ocean through reflection, highlighting hukam, surrender to the flow of divine will. Hukam rajai chalana Nanak likhya naal. Surrender does not mean being passive. It means releasing the illusion that we control everything. Within this sacred order, we are given intelligence known as buddhi and vivek, the discernment to choose how we show up in the world. We are responsible for our actions, not for commanding the results. Life is like a field. Our actions are the seeds. The harvest unfolds according to laws far greater than our personal will. So we cannot say nothing depends on us and become careless, nor can we say everything depends on us and collapse beneath the burden. The balanced path is quieter. Act truthfully, live ethically, fulfill our responsibilities with sincerity, meditate, sangat, engage in seva, listen to the teachings of the pious with reverence and an open heart, accept the flow of our karma. When this understanding settles into the heart, worry loosens naturally. Worry is not alleviated through beautiful speech, but through authentic living. Seek the company of those whose actions align with divine values, whose presence brings steadiness rather than noise. Kabir Ji guides us. Kabir Chandana ka birwa bhala bede uthag palas. Hoye pi chandan hoye rahe base jo chandan paas. In the deepest jungle, the sandalwood tree stands quietly, releasing its gentle fragrance into the shadows, unaffected by the stench and the thorns that surround it. It does not grow bitter because bitterness stands beside it, because instead it releases its perfume so generously that even the bitterness becomes to carry its scent. Such is the nature of the one who lives in divine truth. Such souls are rare. Such souls are rooted in compassion. Such souls are rooted in love without condition. Such souls are anchored in the subtle fragrance of the divine, anchored in the Shabd. When we remain in the presence of such souls, something subtle begins to unfold in time. Without effort, without instruction, without force. We begin to soften. Our speech loses its harshness. Our thoughts grow clearer. Our presence becomes gentle. Gradually, we begin to change, providing that the pious soul is truly connected to the divine. But for this transformation to take place, our minds and hearts must remain open, respectful, and receptive to the words and the presence of such souls. In their presence, do not strive to become fragrant. Do not strive to copy them. Do not strive to look like them. Do not pretend to be one of them. Do not force change. Change will happen when you are in humility, when you are in with love, and you are there with your open heart. This is the quiet alchemy of the pious soul. However, the ego prefers life arranged according to personal desire, yet life has never agreed to such conditions. Even when things unfold as hope, the mind soon wants something more. The present moment unsettles the ego because it cannot be controlled. So the mind escapes into memories and worries, places where it can pretend to be in charge. The doorway out of worry is acceptance of hukum, the divine flow. Acceptance does not mean approving of everything that happens in life. It simply means allowing what is already present to be what it is. We do not have to accept a situation for the rest of our lives, only for this moment, just this breath, just this step. That'll be sufficient. When we stop resisting reality, something within us gently softens. Peace is nearer than we imagine, always within reach. It is the mind's endless chatter that leads us away from it. Every time we argue with it, it is a thought we poke holes into that very vessel that holds our peace. This is the quiet cost of worry. It leaks our life force. At every moment, a quiet choice presents itself: to dwell in the shadows of worry or to rest our awareness in the light of the divine. If something can be fixed, step forward and fix it. If it lies beyond our reach, relax. Worrying is like a spinning wheel in deep mud, dirty, exhausting, and unmoving. In the Sangat of the pious, as we digest and practice their teachings, our minds in time will begin to align with the hukum. This begins to settle the throngs of the mind, the waves of the mind. A settled mind does not promise a life without difficulty, but it transforms how difficulty is met. There is clarity instead of panic, response instead of reaction, presence instead of projection. Gradually, this acceptance of hukum becomes our source of steadfastness and security. Ultimately, a refuge not only for ourselves, but for everyone nearby. The rocking horse does not disappear. Thoughts will continue to arise, but now we can recognize what is happening. We can pause, breathe, step down, act where action is needed. Release what was never ours to carry. Stand still, not in resignation, but in trust. The imagined journeys can end. The real journey has always been beneath our feet. To live the way of Sangat, Seva and Simran in the company of the pious is to step down from the endless rocking horse of the mind and place our feet upon the solid, sacred ground of the Shabd vibration. We stop galloping through imagined futures and walk gently in the eternal presence of a gone God. The wooden horse, once an emblem of our illusions, becomes our greatest teacher. Motion is not the same as progress. Thought is not the same as truth. Control is not the same as peace. When the mind quiets into the Shabd vibration, reality itself becomes luminous. The child within us still longs for adventure, but now, instead of chasing imaginary journeys, we ride the living movement of breath, awareness, love, compassion, unity unfolding in real time. This is life untethered from fear. This is freedom from Maya. This is the freedom that comes not from changing the world, but from seeing clearly what we truly are. The rocking horse remains exactly where it has always been. Only the rider has awakened. And perhaps, just perhaps, tonight, I pray we will all step down from our rocking horses and find our innate peace. God bless you. Thank you so much.